Visiting German Chancellor Angela Merkel had said her country will push to update an existing trade agreement between Mexico and the European Union before the end of the year.
Merkel made the remarks at a business event as part of her two-day state visit. She said Mexico is an important trade partner for Germany, and both countries are committed to the principles of free, fair, and equal trade. Negotiations between Mexico and the EU are now underway to update a trade deal signed in 1997 and implemented in 2000. However, they appear to be dragging. Merkel assured the process would be sped up.
We want to do it as quickly as possible. Germany will advocate to conclude this modernization by the end of the year.
She also addressed U.S. President Donald Trump's controversial border wall policy, saying immigration is a complex issue needing a more nuanced solution. Merkel questioned the effectiveness of a border wall in reducing illegal migration. Mexican President Enrique Pena Nieto said Mexico will continue to promote free trade and pursue trade agreements with Germany and the EU.
That will guide all our trade negotiations, including the one we are undertaking with the European Union and North America.
Chinese investment in the United States hits new high in 2016. But as the relationship develops, concerns are rising that U.S. regulatory oversight of foreign companies may impede the progress.
In 2016, Chinese companies invested a record $46 billion in the U.S., tripling the amount in 2015, representing a 10-fold increase compared to 5 years ago. Xu Chen, chairman of China General Chamber of Commerce, or CGCC, says U.S. and Chinese economies are highly complementary to each other.
According to our survey statistics, Chinese companies indeed have more confidence in making further investment in the United States market, because as two largest economies, two largest markets in the world, China needs U.S. not only needs American investment and also needs U.S. exports, and in the meantime we also need U.S. technology in many sectors, and in the meantime vice versa, the U.S. market also needs China's investment. For example, for Mr. Trump's infrastructure construction plan, they need China's construction advantages, also need China's liquidities of the investment.
According to a report released this week by CGCC, 53% of China's companies in the U.S. believe that the current administration will tighten its general oversight of foreign companies. The report also shows that 63% of China's companies believe that merger and acquisition transactions will be subject to more frequent and stricter reviews.
Chinese companies should be more proactive in persuading American politicians to open the market to Chinese investors, because it's a win-win situation, right? In the long run, it will create jobs, and it will bring capital, and will improve R&D. So I see no reason for the U.S. to be so hostile towards Chinese investments.
Despite the distrust and suspicion, Xu believes that the two governments will make every effort to wrap up the negotiations for the long-awaited U.S.-China bilateral investment treaty.
I have the confidence, maybe within confidence or within a short period of time, the two countries, the government will maybe try their best to reach agreement as early as possible. I think it's quite beneficial, not only to the two economies themselves, and also much beneficial to the recovery of the world economy.
Ratings agency Moody's has downgraded South Africa's credit rating to one level above junk status with a negative outlook.
Moody's is the only major ratings agency that keeps South Africa's investment grade status. The agency lowered the country by one notch from Baa2 to Baa3, citing the weakening of South Africa's institutional framework. It also raised concerns about policy uncertainty, slower progress with structural reforms, and the continued erosion of fiscal strength due to rising public debt and contingent liabilities. The agency warned South Africa in April that it was on ratings review after President Jacob Zuma's unexpected cabinet reshuffle on March 31st. South Africa has entered into a technical recession for the first time after the financial crisis in 2008. Official data show that the country's GDP contracted by 0.7% in the first quarter of this year. This followed unfavorable unemployment figures, estimating that 9.3 million people in South Africa can't find a job.
Egypt's Suez Canal Economic Zone Authority has signed contracts with 13 foreign investors on projects worth about $55 million.
Mohab Mamish, head of the Suez Canal Authority, said that the contracts include various projects involving petrochemicals, fertilizers, pharmaceutical solutions, the paper industry, and others.
This project will be the first step towards the advancement of Egypt. There are ports which will be developed. There is a trade based on raw material which will be brought to the area and products that will be exported. Therefore, our ports, Suez Canal, and our legislations should be ready.
Egypt's Minister of Investment and International Cooperation, Saha Nassa, also announced a grant will be provided by Germany. It's aimed at developing Egyptian worker skills.
We are very keen on implementing legislative reforms. We have discussed how investment law can, during the coming period, support this area and attract investment much faster in Egypt, especially this vital and strategic area.
The Egyptian economy has been battling to recover after experiencing recession due to political turmoil by establishing mega national projects, including the Suez Canal Development Corridor, with expansion of infrastructure. The government has recently ratified a law granting investors incentives, such as a 50% tax break on investments made in underdeveloped areas. Other incentives include financial support from the government for connecting utilities to new projects.
New Zealand on Sunday released an information paper on the scope of the proposed free trade agreement between New Zealand and the EU.
The EU is New Zealand's third largest market for goods and services, and it grew in value to nearly $14.5 billion in two-way trade in 2016. The release follows a number of successful bilateral meetings between New Zealand Trade Minister and EU member states in Paris last week. More details on the NZ-EU FTA will be available during a series of public engagement meetings planned in the coming weeks and months, focusing on New Zealand's full trade negotiations agenda. Trade Agenda 2030, New Zealand's new trade strategy, sets an ambitious target of 90% of its goods trade being covered by FTAs by 2030. It also makes openness and transparency around trade issues an important priority.
Now let's take a look at some economic news from China. The country's security regulator has rejected more initial public offerings or IPO applications in a bid to improve the quality of listed firms and protect investors' interests.
The China Securities Regulatory Commission vetoed IPO applications from 24 companies from the start of this year to May the 19th, up from 18 in a January to April period. The reasons for the rejections include abnormal financial conditions, inability to generate sustainable profits, and questionable authenticity of application documents. The CSRC said another 45 companies withdrew their applications, while 188 were approved. The Commission said it will continue to strengthen IPO regulation and keep a close eye on the practices of faking documents and dressing up company performances. In another move, China Securities Regulatory Commission has punished the Chongqing-based Southwest Securities for not exercising due diligence on the reorganization of two companies. Southwest Securities served as the independent financial advisor for the reorganization of Shenzhen-listed Anshan Heavy-Duty Mining Machinery Company with Nine Top Group, an office service company based in East China's Zhejiang province. The brokerage firm did not sign a delegation agreement with the Antran company as required by regulations and failed to fulfill its responsibility of full, extensive, and reasonable investigation into 9-Top Group. Southwest Securities did not discover the facts that 9-Top inflated its service charge income and trade income from 2013 to 2015, and that it fictitiously raised its bank deposits by $44 million. The independent financial advisory report provided by Southwest Securities in April 2016 thus included false content and major omission. CSRC decided to confiscate the brokerage's 1 million yuan income from the case and impose a fine of 5 million yuan. 2 staff members in charge of the business also received penalties. The top banking regulator has called on all financial institutions to improve inclusive financing. The move aims to encourage lending to money-starved small and micro firms, the agriculture sector, and poverty relief work. Chief of China Securities Regulatory Commission encouraged financial institutions to delegate the right of loan approval to lower levels as long as financial risks are under control. A State Council meeting last month has allowed banks to tolerate a reasonable higher non-performing loan ratio for small and micro enterprises, agriculture, and poverty alleviation. Monetary and credit policy incentives will be offered to banks to increase such lending. By the end of first quarter, outstanding loans to small firms stood at about $4.09 trillion, up 14.4% from a year ago, while agriculture-related loans was $4.3 trillion, up 8.9%.
Latest data showed that India's economic growth slowed sharply to 6.1% in the first 3 months of this year. Some experts share their opinions on the slowdown. Take a listen.
Some economists attributed the fall to the impact of government's demonetization move last year. The surprise move by Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi to curb corruption and black money brought several key sectors of India's cash-dependent economy to a grinding halt. The 2 key aspects of the economy, fixed capital investment and private consumption, all showed signs of decline.
Essentially what's happening is that the amount of money which companies are putting away to invest is coming down. Now that is a very major weakness. And why is that happening? The reason why it's happening is because of the fact that there is already a huge NPA problem in the economy. The banks have got funds, but the companies are not able to borrow. And the reason why they're not able to borrow is because they have got a huge debt overhang already. This is the biggest challenge for the Indian economy.
Experts also suggested that there are an array of other factors responsible for the downturn.
Compared to any other economy, Indian economy is a very consumption-led mover. The consumption multiplier here is higher. So if the consumption level rises, then one would expect the investors to actually saying that fine, my capacity is already coming to full, let me add another level of capacity. So far the trends are very mixed. For the simple reason you talked about demonetization, that was one thing, but that was more on the informal part of the economy. The formal part, there hasn't been much of loss of jobs. The salary structure and others have not changed. So essentially the weakness in consumption is again related to the fact that overall there are not too many jobs expanding, not too many new people entering the job market with salary. So that is a very critical one metric.
Official data show that only 350,000 jobs were created over the last 2 years. Meanwhile, the Indian government has pledged to ease the restrictions on doing business in the country in order to spur the economic growth. The implementation of Goods and Services Tax, or GST, is considered to be the biggest tax reform in India since 1947.
As of now, the Indian economy, since at above $2 trillion, is a very important part of the world economy. And obviously, you'd see several companies, and not just several, I mean much more, trying to push investment into India. So yes, there is a huge amount of interest that would be coming along. So they would be watching the growth numbers very carefully to see what are the chances of investing into India. But they would also be looking at what are the non-growth issues which the government has been focusing on. GST is obviously one of those. Along with that, measures to improve the ease of doing business. These would have a much more stronger impact on the economy.
The use of clean energy sources around the world increased by 9% in 2016 compared to the previous year.
According to Spanish Foundation for Renewable Energy, there is a global capacity generating over 2 billion gigawatts of clean energy. Among them, 47% is produced by sunlight, 34% by the wind, and 15.5% by water.
Last year showed the growth of renewables is unstoppable. We're producing 9% of the world's energy, and we saw a 9% increase in capacity. We also did more with less, which means to say there was more renewable energy in the world using sun, wind, and water, but with less investment. Renewable energy is getting cheaper all the time.
The U.S. President Donald Trump's move to abandon the Paris Climate Change Agreement has caused shock and anger throughout the world, but it also offers other countries the chance to take the lead in fighting the climate change.
China and the EU are obliged to lead the world in what the U.S. is not going to do. President Trump's policies see the U.S. lose a huge opportunity to compete. So the EU and China have a lot of important economic reasons to lead the change.
Next, let's turn to some news from global companies. Uber's board is reportedly considering putting CEO Travis Kalanick on temporary leave for his management oversight.
Sources said the board met Sunday to discuss options pertaining to Kalanick, who co-founded the San Francisco-based technology company in 2009 and since has been on the driving seat to expand its operations worldwide. However, he has been criticized for his management styles, especially for allowing Uber's corporate culture to harbor some abusive behaviors. Acting on recommendations made by the law firm of former U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder, Uber fired 20 employees last week for being involved in sexual harassment cases. Chinese billionaire Jack Ma, founder and executive chairman of Alibaba Group, is expected to attend the inaugural of Youth Connect Africa Summit next month in the Rwanda capital, Kigali. Rwanda Minister of Youth and ICT confirmed with CNC that Jack Ma is scheduled to come to Rwanda and share entrepreneurial skills with young people. Rwanda hosts a meeting in July that will primarily focus on youth entrepreneurship and to explore the opportunities on the continent. The summit is expected to attract more than 1,500 participants.
Technology is changing the world we live in. From driverless vehicles to supercomputers able to replicate a human's ability to answer questions, many have witnessed the achievement accomplished by robotic technology. Today, Economy Reporter show you the development of robotic technology and how it affects human lives.
Robotic technology development started in the 1950s, and today this technology has been applied in various industries. The Spanish Center for Scientific Investigation, or CSIC, is playing a key role in a major international project, which is developing robots to make the process of clearing mines both faster and safer. The prototype has robotic arms in its front and a metal detector in its rear. It can scan the area and send a message to its base about the possible location of the mines.
As it has 6 legs, the robot can then carry on walking. If there is a mine, it can jump over it and continue with its work. It can move at around 0.3 meters a second.
The robotic technology is also widely applied in the area of medical treatment. Intuitive Surgical, an American company majoring in robotic-assisted minimally invasive surgery, and Fosun Pharma, a healthcare group in Shanghai, have announced a joint venture to research, develop, and manufacture innovative robotic-assisted catheter-based medical devices. The Da Vinci surgical system features a 3D HD vision system for clear and magnified view inside patient's body. The instruments bend and rotate far greater than a human wrist. The surgeon controls the robot, which translates his or her hand movements into smaller, more precise movements of tiny instruments inside the patient's body. It allows surgeons to perform complex and routine procedures through a few small openings, similar to traditional laparoscopy. Bionic robotics is the application of biological methods and systems found in nature to the study and the design of robots. Shanghai University in East China has unveiled a slew of bionic robots. They include Amoeba, which tries to model on an amoeba, a type of cell on an organism that has the ability to alter its shape. X-Dog, a small and low-cost quadruped robot, can walk, jump, and run. It may resist impact while keeping balance. Traffball 1 and Traffball 2 are rolling balls with legs inside. The balls can stick out their legs to climb stairs or overcome barriers. There are also ProGo, Mini-Quad 5, and Crawler. The study group of Shanghai University seeks to make robots move like animals. At the 2016 World Robot Conference, or WRC, in Beijing, a mature, skilled, human-like robot attracted great attention.
佳佳你好，你有男朋友吗？
你好，这个真没有。
佳佳你好，你会算数吗？1加1等于几？
这位先生，您笑起来的样子真好看。我会算一些简单的算术题。这个问题都不会的话，我不如拿块豆腐撞死。结果是2啊，很2的2啊。
This beautiful girl in traditional Chinese clothes have become a highlight. She's an intelligent robot named Jia, who looks very much like a real woman. The eye-catching robot was developed by a robot research and development team at the University of Science and Technology of China, or USTC, in Hefei, capital of East China's Anhui province. It took the team 3 years to research and develop this new generation interactive robot, which can speak, show micro-expressions, move its lips, and move its body.
We selected dozens of girls in our university and finally chose 5 of them to form the facial model of Jia. Her skin is made of biomimetic materials, very close to human being. She even has blood vessel on her arms.
你知道北京的天气吗？
这个问题我要思考一下。北京天气阴，气温是7摄氏度至15摄氏度，东北风3至4级。
Compared with previous interactive robots, Jiajia's eyeballs roll naturally, and his speech is in sync with his lip movements, in addition to her human-like form.
云天无际，承载梦想。中国南方航空是中国运输飞机最多、航线网络最发达、年客运量最大的航空公司。亚洲第一，全球第3，是南航缔造的业界奇迹。蓝天壮志情，云海谱华章。
专业的团队，丰厚的经验。
Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to the Lake Cook Law Group.
投资理财、法律咨询，芝加哥专业律师团队为您的梦想提供最安全的保障。
Hi, this is Little Chinese Channel, 小小中文, Lesson 21. In this lesson, we will be learning these 6 Chinese characters. What's this? 久 means in a long time. 很久 means in a long time. 不久不久不久不久 means soon. 久 is the building block of these two characters. If we break this apart, move it a bit over here, this character is 欠欠欠 means to owe. 欠债欠债欠债欠债 means in debt. Next, we will be learning a new root character. What's this? 马 means horse. 小马 is a pony. 马上 means right away. If we give this stroke a hook at the end and put a dot over here and a second dot in the middle, it turns into 鸟 means bird. 小鸟 is a small bird. If we remove the dot in the middle, it turns into 乌 means dark. 乌云 is dark clouds. Next, we'll be teaching you a new root character. What's this? 女 means female. 女士 is a lady. 女人 is a woman. Okay, let's write. Remember when you're writing to follow the stroke sequence. 九 欠 马 鸟 乌 女 Let's take a break. Bye-bye. The lesson is